Darren Findling of the Probate Pro. We're going to walk you through the timeline and the process involved in a Michigan guardianship or a Michigan conservatorship. Let's work our way through this. To begin the process, you need to do a little bit of homework in advance of filing the petition. Most courts require some written statement from a doctor, a mental health provider, a medical provider, something that identifies that the individual upon which you're seeking the appointment is in need of that protection. It's not a requirement, but we strongly urge you to do that because some of the courts give you an awful difficult time if you try to file a petition for guardianship or a petition for conservatorship without it. Let's spend a moment and differentiate. Guardianship is for care and well-being, conservatorship for finances. It doesn't mean that you are going to always file a guardianship petition with a conservatorship petition. Sometimes one or the other occurs, and sometimes when it's asked, one person serves as guardian and one person serves as conservator. There's no one size fits all, but suffice it to say, having a doctor's prescription or letter or physician statement will help you get by the counter at the probate court. Next is to file that petition for guardian and or conservatorship. Each one is its own petition. It takes time to fill it out. We urge you to do that in advance of going down to the courthouse because you'll be spending a lot of time trying to figure out which spaces to complete. And most importantly, we urge you to hire a good, competent lawyer to help you through that process. It's not easy to fill out those forms. Some people can get their way and can navigate their way through it, and some really struggle to get through the petition itself. We'll do another video on how to complete the petition for guardianship that you can watch. But for now, we're going to walk you through the timeline. After filing of the petition with the court and paying the requisite filing fee, the court schedules it for a hearing. That hearing is often many weeks later, between 2 and, in some courts in Michigan, 45 to 60 days after you file it. You are required to serve the notice of the petition to all of the interested parties. That includes the family that are defined under Michigan's statute, as well as the individual upon which you're seeking protection. There are other agencies that are required to be served depending on the circumstances, like the Social Security Office or the State of Michigan Attorney General's office. So it's important that you read the statute as well as the Michigan court rule to help identify which people and entities are required to receive service. Here's why this is so important. First, it's mandated under Michigan law. Second, if you proceed through this guardianship or conservatorship without sending and serving the right people, you're going to get to court and unfortunately have to start that process all over again, a wasted amount of time and energy, which can be really frustrating. And lastly, if you fail to comply with Michigan law and give good notice, there are all sorts of penalties that can be imposed upon you for not following the statutory requirements. The next step is that somebody from the court, a court-appointed guardian ad litem, not to be confused with the guardian themselves, but somebody appointed by the court to be the eyes and ears of the court, will go out and visit the individual. They're going to ask lots of questions and gain a lot of information about the individual upon which you're seeking to be appointed. The two primary objectives, though, are to identify whether that person is able to consent to the appointment, and second, to consent to who you're nominating to serve as the guardian or conservator. If they object in any form to that petition, it will get scheduled for a trial or an evidentiary hearing on the issue. If the guardian ad litem reports back to the court that the individual is in agreement with this request and there are no objections within that, the process is much smoother and the court generally will grant the request if everything is lined up. The guardian ad litem will report with the court, and then there's a hearing. And at that hearing, you stand in front of the judge under the penalties of perjury and identify the basis for the guardianship and conservatorship, what facts lend support to the need for a guardian or conservator, who you want to have nominated, and the court addresses all the issues presented before the court, including reviewing the guardian ad litem report to see if everything is in order. And as we said, objective here is to obtain what we call a letter of guardianship or letter of conservatorship. I use the general term letter of authority to signify that that piece of paper gives that person the authority to act under Michigan law on either the guardianship or conservatorship. The next step in a conservatorship file is to file an inventory. An inventory is not generally required in a guardianship file, but is required in a conservatorship file in which you're identifying the assets of the individual upon which you're suing. And then yearly, on the anniversary date of the original appointment, there are two major events. One is in a conservatorship, you have to account for all of the assets that have come in and gone out. We call that an annual account of fiduciary. And again, I'm happy to help you if you've got questions about that process. On a guardianship file, there's a document called an annual report of guardian. That is a statement from the guardian identifying how that individual is doing over the past year, as well as whether they recommend the continued need for guardianship. Again, these, for some, are really difficult to do. It's quite complicated and confusing when you go down to the probate court, not knowing the statutes, the court rules, how the general flow of the process occurs. Hopefully this video has given you some good guidance, but most importantly, it is my recommendation to hire a good lawyer. You're welcome to call us with questions, ask for forms, need information, call us at 877-YOUR-FIRM, or visit us at theprobatepro.com.